Right, hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the River Dane and we're in search of chub. This is the final session of this year's river season and I've decided to come along to the River Dane, hopefully to make contact with Mr. Chub. Before we get into this week's vlog, I just want to thank everybody that left such nice comments on last week's video. It really is appreciated, the support you show the channel, and it's great to hear how you guys are getting on in your fishing. Today you can probably hear on the mic, like past weeks, it's really windy, and this is actually a quieter part of the river we've chose to set up on today. What we'll do is we'll waste no time in showing you the setup, the swim. I'm dying to make a start. It's a new swim that I've not fished before, so I'm excited to see what it holds. So the setup for the session is my 12 to 14 foot korum glide. I've got that matched up with a korum switch reel, and on there I've got 4-pound line. So looking at the swim, and it does smell of garlic. All this wild garlic is everywhere, so the air is just full of the smell of wild garlic. Looking at the swim, we've got some quite even paced river here, and what made me set up on this is you can see as you look down there's no breaks in it. You've got a willow downstream, and I know from walking the river it does get really shallow, so that's going to be the end of our trot. That is where we're going to be sat on the old shaky box. You can see, got my side tray, the keep net's in, and my uncle does always say, you always put your keep net in first, and that is just confidence. You know, be confident you're going to catch. You know, sometimes people don't put the keep net in until they catch. Just be confident that you're going to get a few bites. So as you can see, the banks are quite barren. You know, there's not a lot of trees. Now, if anyone remembers the River Dane from years ago, all that was trees. The EA cut them down to prevent the tree like that going in the water and hold the water up to flood the town. So yeah, what you've got is quite open area, and it was no surprise this morning to see a cormorant take off out the swim. Big mature bird took off right there. So it tells me one thing, there's fish in the area, because it wouldn't land for nothing. Like I've said in the past, they do it for a living, but they have reduced the amount of dace and roach in the river dramatically. 5 years ago you were getting mixed nets of chub and dace and roach, perch. They seem to have gone now, but it's the river, you never know. It's the last session of the season, so let's make a start. So that's 6 number 4 evenly strung out, and I've got 2 size 8 droppers. I'm just literally going to be going there right behind the maggot, so it's going to be nice easy fishing. It's a lesson that my uncle always taught me. Start easy and only go hard if you have to. So the most important thing is to spend a bit of time plumbing up. So we've got a nice bit of depth there under our feet, what, maybe 3-4 foot, which is a nice depth. I'm just going to flick it downstream to around about the same line, and I can see there the float's disappeared. So it says to me we're going down to slightly deeper water, which isn't a bad thing. It's always good to be going from shallow to deep rather than deep to shallow. I do know it does shallow up on the outside of them willows down there. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to see whether it's shallower out there. It's not too different. Down the middle we've got slightly deeper water. So that's the plumbing up done for me. I know I'm at the depth of the swim here. I can work the rest of it out as I go down now. Just feeding maggots there to start off with. It's the time of year where Mr. Chub's going to be hungry, and I've been putting a few maggots in at the start. I'm just going to go down this line straight down to that willow. So single maggot, put your maggots right behind it. And the beauty of fishing off the rod tip is you can really edge that bait through. So one thing that tells me on that first cast is you've got a nice straight line down the swim. The thing I'm laughing at, you very rarely see a duck up a tree, but it's a sign of the times, isn't it? That time of year, you've got 2 male ducks at the bottom of the tree and the old girl getting out of the way of them at the top of it. It's a sure sign that change is most definitely on the way. So right on about the 45-minute mark, I went down the middle a little bit and hit a snag, and then we've just hit the first one of the day, which is a little small chub, and as you can see, darting for the inside cover. It's only a small one, but it's taking about 45 minutes to come. So the first chublet of the day, and yeah, a lucky one, because guys just offered to buy him off me. Mad world we live in. We'll get him straight back and see if we can get another, but the first chublet of the day. So like I said at the start, you know, it's taken a bit of time to get the first bite, and madness playing that fish. Some guy come behind me, was asking if he could buy it off me. And I guess, you know, along with the cormorants, that's the dangers that these fish face, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That type of problem is across the country as well, but yeah, madness. I don't think I've ever had anybody offer to buy me fish off me. But you know, where there's one, can sometimes be more, like I was just about to say. And it just shows, you know, we've been going down this line for a while, we've not had a bite, and then all of a sudden the float's buried twice in 2 trots. The guy who wanted to buy it's gone, so this one won't be going on the market. But yeah, things you see by the river, eh? Wonder whether it was that cormorant this morning that did spook them, and it's just taking this bit of time now for them to gain the confidence and come back in. And there we go, just how it turns around, eh? Very next trot, chub number 2, and hopefully the start of 1 or 2 arriving. Normally on this river you get 1 or 2 and, you know, they spook a bit and then you wait a bit, but great to get a bend in the rod and chub number 2 on the bank. So it's been another probably 20 minutes and no more bites after them 2, so that's definitely a 6 o'clock in the morning brew. Like treacle. I'm going to sit back, have that, rest the swim a little bit, and we'll go back in and see if we can pick up another. It's been great bumping into people who watch the blog on the channel, having a chat about the river and other people who fish the river. It's good to see people, you know, on the river, because they are amazing places. So yeah, I'm going to sit back, have me coffee, and then we'll have another go. And I can confirm it tastes as bad as it looks. Goddamn awful. So just had that brew, gone back in, and the float's buried. The third chub of the day, and he's in immaculate condition. You wouldn't think there was cormorants coming on the river, would you? Not a mark on him. Beautiful orange in his fins. Chub number 3, and the madness of fishing, eh? The very next cast, another one of them small chublets. We've had 4 chub. It's gone quiet again. Mr. Cormorant has tried to land. I couldn't grab my phone quick enough. What we'll do is we'll take a look at the net and we'll go and have a bit of an explore and try another swim. But yeah, good. What, 2.5 hours in this swim? Nice bend in the rod, but great to get a few bites. And yeah, going back in the river and not into someone's dinner plate like one of them could potentially have ended up today. Of a walk down the river. We were going to try in the town centre, but there's a bit of a police investigation going on and loads of people about, so I've just dropped back on this peg that you've seen me fish a few times, put in a bit of maggot, and that float's just buried. I said the last day of the season, so let's see if we can get him in. And And there we go, look at the big cake hole on it. Plenty of maggots gone down there over the rest of the season. Again in mint condition, fin perfect, great battle on that rod. It's all under the inside bank and everything. But yeah, ending the season, catching a few chub, great fun. So conditions today couldn't be much better really. It's, you know, there's clarity, it's overcast. Yeah, they're just not on it as much as you would think. You know, this is the second chub, but you would think they would have come onto the maggots a bit quicker. This one's come right down the swim and then swam. You can see there on the float upstream. It's just holding in the flow. And in that swim this morning, we did have 1 or 2 chublets. Well, that's a proper chub. Right, so the session does come to an end there now. We had those 4 lovely chub this morning, and we're ending it with these 2 proper chub this afternoon. As you can see, the river behind me, the wind's dropped. Perfect conditions just as the river's closing. The season is coming to an end now, and like with all things, it leaves you with lots of memories. There's that big weight of bream that we had earlier on in the year. We've had sessions on the Ribble where we've gone for those dace and those nice perch and the big roach. And of course, we've had those pike sessions earlier on as well. So it has been a lovely season on the bank. Unfortunately, like the last couple of seasons, you know, there's been a lot of rain about that's made it difficult. But I hope you've enjoyed the trips out on the rivers in search of those silvers and chub. So looking forward, the rivers are closed and we're moving into that period now, aren't we, where the rivers that are on form and the lakes are just waking up. So hopefully there's plenty more adventures to come in the next couple of weeks. I want to thank you so very much for watching the video. It would be great if you could like and subscribe. I hope you guys have had a good year. Leave in the comments down below how you've got on this river season, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight line.